Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe. So this is a viewer topic that I'm going to respond to a nice, faithful subscriber. So he says, I think you remember me. I was telling you about my ex-narcissist who monkey branched her coworker. And monkey branching is when the narcissist leaves one relationship, goes into another before letting go of the first one. So this person just moved on without breaking up first. She tried to Hoover me again. So I had mentioned a lot of times during the holidays, this can happen. And we just had Thanksgiving. So this person gets that Hoover. And once she found out, responded to, I should know, I went no contact for 6 months. So he's been keeping his distance, but she Hoovers back. She came back and dipped out real quick. Worst mistake I ever made. And if you see a pattern in other YouTubers, even the self-aware ones, they'll say that, you know, if they come back, a lot of times those relationships are even shorter. The discard comes a lot quicker. Very methodical. It's almost predictable that it's gonna happen. So they a lot of times just check in to see, do you still miss me? Or this one, I'll get into it in a second why she came back. So she's sneaking around and calling me in the bathroom. So she's sitting in the bathroom calling him. And her new man, I can't remember if they got married, but he's in the bedroom. And she was telling my subscriber, my viewer, I think you're subscribed. You got to be subscribed. Go ahead and subscribe. So, anyways, sneaking around, calling her new man's in the bedroom while she's calling from the bathroom, and she states that she was bored. So that right there is one of the reasons. Narcissists, a lot of my videos talk about how they get bored, and that's why they come back. They just need supply. It doesn't really matter who they're getting it from. So this guy's in the bedroom. I'm assuming he might be asleep or just kind of a little too relaxed. So she's doing her own thing. He's probably sleeping if she's comfortable enough to call him from the house, even though it's in a different room. And I think it's a typo. And I think he means to say, and I'll assume she's happy with him, or it says, and she's happy with him. So I'm assuming, I don't know if he asked her, but she's going to a psychiatrist. So she says that she must have said something that made him believe that she's happy. They must have discussed it for him to say that, or at least pull something from it. But she's going to a psychiatrist. So she feels something's off in her life. So it's not some miracle that being with a new supply, that the narcissist is happy. Like, she's bored and going to a psychiatrist. There's either depression, anxiety, something's going on. Maybe it is her narcissism or other possible comorbidities. So she's not happy. Even if she says she's happy, she's unsettled. We'll put it that way. She's at least unsettled. She's not faithful. Whether I think they were still fooling around. I can't remember. But the fact that she's reaching out to an ex, depending on who you guys are, you might see that as cheating. It's at least emotional cheating. And she's not honoring the new relationship by emotionally cheating, whether it's physical or not. So after she got her attention from calling this subscriber, she dipped out and ghosted me all over again. Now, ghosted, that's silent treatment. They come and then they just leave. And you know, it leaves you very confused. Like, do we have friendship? You're in and out of my life. They like to do that. They like to come in and out. A lot of times too, there's patterns with narcissistic relationships of like breaking up, getting back together, breaking up. They say it takes about 7 breakups before the relationship is over. It's very common in narcissistic relationships, the back and forth, because they feel entitled that, or grandiose, that you're just going to adore them. They always take them back. So she got the affirmation that she wasn't hated, that she was missed. It was probably a tender call, talking about things. A lot of times too, in those calls, if you bring up anything from the past, they're going to ghost you. And sometimes too, they'll just ghost you even if it was a good conversation. The connection's not there. Out of sight, out of mind a lot of times. And then when they're bored, that's when something has to fill that boredom section of their brain, and your thought pops up. And it's just to fill that. Their brain works differently. I've done some videos on that. So he says, I know I made the mistake and I went no contact for 6 months. And when she hoovered me, I fell for it. And I'm so upset with myself. A lot of times we're like, why did I do that? I was doing so good, especially when you start moving on. When you start moving on, it's like they can sense it. When you're doing better, a lot of times that's when the Hoover comes. They either stalk you on social media or through flying monkeys, associates that you guys had together. They try to find out information, and it's easier to come back when you, or they're attracted to, it's so weird. They're attracted to the strength, and they try to tear down that strength thinking that they're going to absorb it. So they're just going to destroy you. And depending on how the conversation went, you know, it could just be that there was some tension. Like, I don't know why you left me. Are you going to stick around this time? Or, you know, it depends on how the conversation went. But don't kick yourself too hard for falling for the Hoover. We cared about these people. A lot of us loved our people, and it's hard to just close off our emotions. And sometimes we didn't even get the closure, so we're seeking that closure. So we bring up the past. For something to start over healthy, the past has to be completely gone, and you have to heal those wounds. So if it was cheating or lying, like, that has to be summed up before you can move on and wipe the slate clean. But this is where it gets hard with each additional Hoover, is you start becoming a little unsettled yourself. Like, do I trust this person? Or, you know, so you might be needy and calling too soon, or not being patient enough. And they sense that. So they see you as needy, or if you're just trying to be loving, they'll see it as a weakness. And when they see the weakness, it's a reflection of them. It's not a reflection of you, because loving somebody is not a weakness, but people take it for granted and they discard it a lot more easily or over time. And that's why, like, when I talk about the relationships with the new supply, it just takes time for that cycle. Remember, I said it's like 7 breakups, and the little seeds of, can I trust this person? Are they going to call me back? Or what's taking so long? Or, you know, you could say, look, I'm worried about you. You said you call. And then, like, do I have to answer to you? And they just twist it a different way. It's just a different way that they think. So it's a no-win situation. So he's asking me what this means as far as the whole calling thing. And it was after no contact for 6 months. So what this means, it means she's bored. What does it mean? She's probably attracted to him. There were some memories. Narcissists do remember certain things, but it's almost like they remember where they can get the supply. And a better way to put it is a safe supply. So you can kind of, as an analogy, think about, if I'm gonna, I don't know, rob a bank, I'm going to go to the one that has the least surveillance, the, you know, no cops on duty, you know, where, or rob a store where it's easiest access. There's no cameras, only manned by one person. That's where I'm going to go to get my supply, as opposed to something that's more difficult. So they'll also go to the familiar. So it's easy. All I got to do is call this person, as opposed to investing in a different relationship. Plus, she's at home, so she's not going to just find some man to get supply from. Sometimes they will often get it through Facebook, social media, dating apps, even just the "you're so beautiful" or whatever happens on those sites. Whether they love to future fake, so it's really easy to say, "Yeah, I'll meet up with you," and you just want to, the narcissist just wants to hear, "You're so beautiful. I wish I could be with you," and they just want their egos stroked or their anger, sadness, depression, low self-esteem balanced by the supply. So, 6 months, she moved on, and I wish I could remember. I think they got married. Comment below when you watch this video. He'll be watching it. So it it takes time for them to be with the new supply. So she's starting to pick apart, realizing that this fantasy that she had, that the grass was greener on the other side, she's starting to realize it's not perfect. And narcissists feel they either were expected to have perfection in their life, or they never had it, so they crave it and feel that they deserve it. So it's a cycle. It's a narcissistic cycle. So she was in that love bombing stage, and isn't content with it. She's not happy with it. There's something within her that's making her seek outside validation, and the narcissists are always bored. They can't handle downtime. So I had somebody ask me something, because they can be alone. This is where I want you guys to pay attention. They can be alone as long as it's self-serving. So, they might want to tinker in the garage on a car. Well, they're doing that to get praise, like, "Oh my gosh, you fixed that up." Or sometimes out of necessity, they need their car to work, or it's a classic car that they want to show off. Somebody could be a gymnast. They can be a narcissist going to work out all the time because they want the supply that they're going to get is either the perfect body or medals, or to be a part of something. It's supply oriented, and she was low on supply. So there's probably something in the relationship with her new man that is low on supply. Maybe he's giving her a hard time about helping with the dishes, or whatever's going on in their relationship. It's probably not even a big deal, but it's pissing her off. So she's reacting to that. So he's asleep. She can't bitch. She can't do this. He's sleeping. They can be somewhat respectful. They don't always have to wake you up to bitch you out. So she finds him and just wants energy. Just wants the energy, good or bad energy. I'm assuming the relationship went well, or the call went well, because he kind of expected another communication. So I don't know, based on this message, if he reached out or if she reached out. I'm sorry. If he reached out and she didn't reply, or she just didn't reach out again. So this is a hard part. We like to reach out. We like to touch base. We like to check in. And it's because we think we have a relationship with them, but the connection's not there. And it's hard too, where we're like, especially for his sake, we'll say, the male female, like it's changing over time, where it's okay for the females to reach out, but sometimes people think it's the man's job. So he's reaching out thinking he's doing the manly thing. And she wants control. She might be like, "I was going to call you," whatever the dynamics are. That's why, as society is changing, it's making it more difficult, because there's still, that we still have certain things that men are kind of expected to do and women are more expected to do. There's some transition, but people need to talk about things. And with the narcissist, they don't like to work things out. So I wonder, in this communication that you had with her, did you say, "Can I call you next week?" Or was it just an unspoken thing? Sometimes too, you don't want to be pushy. And the balance is really hard because she must have said something that made him think we're cool, we'll talk again. And we got to think about this too, is you were craving or wanting her to contact you again, or at least reply to your text. And I can relate to that. I can understand it, but that's where we have to kind of evaluate us, our self-esteem, our self-worth. I get it. I get where you're coming from, but is that healthy? She's with somebody else. And, it's better to just say, hey, you want to hit me up? Hit me up when you're single. Hopefully she's not, if you do that, it's with a non-narcissistic person. But if you're even saying that to somebody who's like destroyed your life, like I believe this is the one where she didn't talk to him for a year. I'm not sure, but that might have been Brian. Brian, if you're watching, was that you? It's one of these two. But that's another thing where they can go a year sleeping next to you, not talking to you. Narcissists can be so destructive and damaging to our self-esteem that sometimes we accept those breadcrumbs because we're hurting. And it's almost like, you think about it, if you're starving, and I give you this much of a hamburger, you are going to be thankful. You're still going to be starving, but you will take it. You will gobble it down. And the narcissist over time, as an analogy, gave us burger upon burger, triple deckers, double deckers, and then single patties, and then just little pieces. Okay, fine, I'll give you a single patty burger. And we don't, you start like Pavlov's dog, like, I don't know what I'm getting. I just have to be there when I get it. And it kind of turns us into desperate people in a sense. Be careful of not getting back into that rut, because it's a change of who you are. It makes, because have you guys heard, you're too needy, and it's us trying to readjust. Let's just get back to where we're supposed to be, instead of, they talk about putting each other on a pedestal, and we're thinking we're both king and queen, and it's reigning the world together, tackling the world, our relationship. And eventually one is going to want more power. And it's okay if you have, like, a little bit more submissive wife, or whatever, where there's a balance and agreement. Like, no, I don't mind, I'll do the laundry and the kids and this and that. Like, if that's who you are, that's fine. But when it's taken for granted and you're told what to do without compromise, or taken for granted, and sometimes too, even just a, hey, thank you. But a lot of times the narcissist will pick apart the negative instead of looking at the positive. So you can make this beautiful meal and they'll bitch that the potatoes weren't done right, as opposed to appreciating the meal and just keeping their mouth shut about the potatoes. Or giving an honest opinion. I don't like cheesy potatoes, but thank you for making it. As opposed to, this tastes like shit. What were you thinking? You couldn't even ask me. It's just a different way they talk, and they knock you down, and then, or they'll lie about it. We gotta be careful too. Sometimes we do that. Whereas that was delicious. People take that to heart, and then they'll make it for you again. So just be aware of that. So what does it mean? She hasn't changed. That's what it means. And if you're asking, why did it go 6 months? There are cycles in relationships. So, and the narcissists compound that. There's times where, I might be stressed at work, or exhausted, or not feeling good. So, I might skip making a meal or something like that. It doesn't mean I love my partner any less, but there's cycles, but the narcissist, king and queen, boom, they don't keep us at whatever agreement we have. They start taking advantage of it, and they pick apart the fantasy. So every time they pick apart what the fantasy is, oh, you're a little heavy, you don't cook good, you don't this, you don't, They're just picking apart. They saw you as perfect, so they put you on a pedestal, and then they kind of made it known you're a person, you're human, nobody's perfect. And they kept themselves. This is where it gets interesting, is they kept themselves on that pedestal. And now we're down here. We love that person, so we're kind of worshiping them or wanting to get back up here. And I don't know if worship is the correct word, but some of us are craving to get back on that pedestal. And we feel that's our reality. We're not looking at what our reality is. We're looking at, they say, potential, because the person knows how to do it. The person doesn't want to do it. And they don't want to do it the right way. And it's where we're walking on eggshells. As soon as we start walking on eggshells, they devalue us. So if I was like, would you like mashed potatoes, double baked potatoes, cheesy potatoes, French fries, whatever you want, I'll make them. And they're like, geez, you're so annoying. Like, get it together. And we're sitting here trying to please them. And when we're trying to please them, we're annoying them. It's a no-win situation. When they can, oh, that's so sweet. She wants to make everything, whatever I want. Of course I'll tell her. They look at it as like, oh my God. It's a different way that they look at things. And can they ever get better? This is a thing. I'm going to do a video on the narcissist in reverse. And I want you guys to watch that, because that's going to explain the differences on how their mind works. So I'll close this video now. Topic requests are always welcome. I love doing videos for you guys. Comment below if that helped, and I'll see you guys soon. Have a good day.